Hey, welcome back. Welcome. Brian Boone has responded to Sarah's ridiculous request for child support and alimony. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the Boone Farm. Whether you're watching morning, noon, or night, I hope you're having a good one and enjoying the small things in life. Meanwhile, as Sarah sits in her cell and realizes that her jewelry and family heirlooms are worth about as much as those pink shorts she used to wear, the former housewife of Tillwood Apartments is finally realizing that through her own actions, she's rendered herself helpless and unavailable to fulfill any parental role, according to the document. So that means no money for you, Sarah. Last night, as I was cooking dinner for the family and listening to YouTube, Tanika's 2 cents read the entire document where Brian and his team responded to Sarah, and it was explosive. I mean, they politely read Sarah like a book and left absolutely no wiggle room like she did to George. According to the documents that Tanika read, Sarah, she never stood a chance. We all knew and hoped that she wouldn't be entitled to any money, but apparently she's embarrassed that the world and YouTube got to read her documents and her request and how outlandish they were, and now she's changed her mind. She doesn't want the $6,100, but she wants to control how the $6,100 is going to be spent on the child. She wants to have rights to doctor's appointments and school decisions and just normal life decisions that an active parent would have, not an incarcerated parent.
I hear the dogs barking.
Okay.
And if you think about it, Sarah lived a really privileged life. Although she was low income, she was pretty much taken care of. She had a nice apartment, a car, clothes, food, everything she needed, and she still wasn't happy. The one thing that she failed to value was the relationship with her son. And according to all these crazy documents that she's writing, I think she's starting to have some regret about that. While Sarah maintains that she was railroaded and her case was mishandled, Brian and his team countered and told the court that Sarah actually removed herself intentionally from her child's life by committing an act so heinous that her rights, her parental rights, should be terminated. I can imagine Sarah sitting in her cell, sipping on the prison wine, fuming as she read the word intentionally. Nonetheless, they didn't stop there. They went on to say that Sarah pretty much forced Brian into a single parent role. He went from co-parenting and kind of babysitting, but co-parenting, to being a full-time single dad overnight. That was my finger snapping. Not only did the former housewife of Tillwood force Brian into a single parent role, she drug his family name through the media and the mud. She also involved him in a case where someone lost their life. On top of that, some would call it extortion, the way she demanded money from him. Not only does it seem like Brian was the only one there for her, it seems like he's her only punching bag right now. And he
Brought it at it, yes.
You grabbed it with both hands here.
Why you should disregard every bit of her testimony.
Order. Leave it below if you know what I'm talking about, but I think maybe she needs to have no contact with him. As we know, since that dreadful night in 2020 when Sarah took George's life, She spent 0 time with her child. That's a 5-year time span where he was 9 and now he's 15. Sarah removed herself from his life and can no longer enjoy the benefits of an active parent, according to Brian's attorneys. And I agree. They even presented that Sarah is coming to the court with unclean hands. And I would beg to say her hands have been unclean since what she did to George that night.
Oh, I'm tired. Well, that's what you told me.
That was intentional. There's no way getting around that. You intentionally did that. Nobody drug you up there. You didn't float up damn stairs.
Okay, well, it's not fair. It's not fair that you guys keep trying to say that that's what I did. I don't know what to tell you.
You told us that. You didn't go upstairs?
Again.
You say you're up for 30 minutes and he doesn't come up. You don't go down and check on him?
I'm in the bed.
You even moved,
and off.
You admit to moving the suitcase, like, over. So
you roll it.
You roll it over. Like, it's not like...
I didn't want it to be like that. Don't...
You didn't want him to be upside down? How do you even get upside down?
You guys are killing me right now.
I just want you to hear...
That's how he talks to me most of the time.
Perfect.
So I don't know if I ask you guys or how I find this out other than talking to his parents, which it's not going to happen.
Yeah, probably a terrible idea.
How do you guys suggest me finding out about funeral?
That's not even something that's been probably talked about between the family. That's not something we ask. We have no way of...
I didn't know, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
So...
It'll be up to them to make the arrangements of what they want to do. Like she just told you this quick, just being told last night, I'll pretty much be willing to wager that they have not even considered what they're going to do.
Our body can't even be released,
No.
so...
I've been there with parents, grandparents, aunt and uncles. So, I don't know if I have the right to or not, but like I was going to call his former employees whom he really cared for and let them know.
You can call whoever you want.
I just don't want to do something that I'm not supposed to. How do I go about getting his wedding ring, engagement ring?
It's at the medical examiner's office. It'll come to us eventually, and then
It'll be released to the next of kin.
Yeah. Okay.
I bought it for him.
Okay.
That is a civil issue. It was on his finger. It goes to them. They're the ones that are going to release it. We don't have any say in that.
So I won't get that back. So for all of this, like, how do I find out what's what, how many, like, what's been found?
What do you mean?
Pillow with stain, swabs of stain from pillow, suitcase.
That will all be sent off to
FDLE.
Florida Department of Law Enforcement. They do their testing.
So, and then, like, whatever white can with blood and necktie with blood was from the suitcase.
Correct.
Why would you guys, oh, you'll see it in there, the baseball bat for Lucas and the receipts. And this is just his phone, my phone, and then the laptop.
Yeah, when anything can be released, we will release it, but we are very early in this investigation, and it's not an overnight process, unfortunately.
So, what's next?
They're going to come and swab your fingers.
No, I'm talking about, like, in the long run.
Court pronounces sentence as follows. Ms. Boone, court sentences you to life in the Department of Corrections, with credit time served that Madam Clerk will provide to you momentarily. There are also court costs and costs of prosecution, which Madam Clerk will give you the totals of.
I'm being accused of something that was not intentional. I'm being accused of it. And a handful of other things that I'm being accused of.
Okay.
So I don't want to be at home with Lucas and you guys show up.
Okay.
I understand that.
So
We're still investigating. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
And she said there was a suitcase and some clothes that had gotten out to donate, and they were trying to get that together. And it was on the floor in the living room. And that, as she was coming down the stairs, she saw him kind of slipping into the suitcase as a hiding place. As she said, I saw him in the suitcase and I zipped him up and we were laughing. She said then he said he couldn't breathe, and I remembered feeling I couldn't breathe when he was choking me or sodomizing. And I was angry and I shook the suitcase. I lost control of the suitcase and it flipped. And she goes on and on about what happened. Defense counsel was there. He heard this testimony that there was no imminent danger presented at the time that she began getting angry, shaking the suitcase, hitting him with a bat, so on and so forth.
Did you walk upstairs?
I did, yes.
Why didn't you let him out before you walked upstairs? Were you afraid?
Terrified is more of the word.
As long as he was in the suitcase, he couldn't harm you.
Correct.
Thank you, ma'am, for having me.
So I guess the big question is, why did you decide when you saw or heard about this want ad to jump to her defense?
Well, I've been following the case. It's been pending for a long time, 4 years. And, I watch a lot of true crime on YouTube. And so I kept following it and seeing how lawyers were getting out of the case or withdrawing. So I was just curious to see it come to an end. And then the judge made a decision fairly recently, I think in June, that she had forfeited her right to court-appointed counsel. And
Right now I feel safe, and right now I have the ability to actually speak to you in a manner that normally I would not have the ability to. Couldn't believe that he could fit in the suitcase.
did you eventually close the top?
Yes, in order for, well, the top was already closed. As he was settling himself in there, that's how I knew he was in there.
While Sarah Boone sits in her tiny little cell, counting her cookies and cupcakes, dreaming of the days she sat on the back patio dancing with the dogs, or walking to the bar to get a bump and a shot.
Emily, know that.
I don't.
Know that.
Hopefully, after Brian's scathing response, she realizes that she isn't entitled to any money, and Brian is the one who is owed the compensation or support, even a village around to help him as he navigates through what she left, the chaos that she left behind for him. As parents, we understand that our children are watching us, and after such a heinous crime, knowing that her child is under a specific microscope socially, some of his peers or their parents may see these documents, and it's just hurtful, and I'm pretty sure that they're all ready to move on. What do you think? Is Sarah Boone still out of touch with reality, expecting to have some sort of control from behind bars? Were you happy to finally see Brian and his legal team stand up to Sarah and all of her silly demands? Will Sarah ever stop her attempts to make Brian a captive audience? If you made it this far, I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
And out of jest, out of levity, undisputed according to her testimony, she comes over there and zips it shut. Whether it's 100% or enough for 2 fingers to get out, that is something that you decide as the jury. But there came a point in time where the fun and games was over. And Mr. Torres told her that. Babe, I can't breathe. Sarah, babe, let me out. This is all on video. We don't have to imagine this. This is all on video. 1062. At that point in time, she is using force against him that is not justified. She is the initial provocateur. She is the aggressor under the law. And what level of force is it? I can't breathe.
He was not able to get out for a moment.
So you flipped it. You got it on the top, right?
Yeah.
It gets in, but at some point you flip it over so the zipper is on the bottom.
Well, it was just kind of how I was moving it around that it ended up kind of flopping, so.
It was upside down.
Yes.
So after you did that, what did you do?
That's when I went over and decided to videotape to just see the, I guess the gist in it for him to understand that right now I feel safe and right now I have the ability to actually speak to you in a manner that normally I would not have the ability to.
What has the state attorney tried to do?
Objection, proper argument.
Sustained.
What have they done?
Objection.
What evidence have they tried to put on?
Overruled.
What evidence have they tried to paint Sarah as? What evidence? You know, this ain't the 1900s, this is 2024. What's all these text messages? Why is that relevant? What are they trying to claim? She provoked his violence?